Let's take one of those things, because these are young children. The old you're from 1st to 5th grade, so kindergarten through 5th grade. So the oldest student you would have would be 11. Those are really young students. So let's talk specifically how you would instill respect.
We do. It's not a simple answer. But there's so many activities, and it's not a one-shot deal. It's continuous.
I like that
it is continuous, yes. And we have spirit days once a month where we talk about a character trait for the entire month, and the teachers review and have activities to enforce that or reinforce that activity throughout that month also. Mm-hmm. For example, if we're talking about friendship, a grade level might present a song that they wrote about friendship in front of the whole school. And then we expect to see samples or examples of how they develop that character as they walk down the hallway. And the way we do that is we don't say, you know, don't do this, don't do that, but we say, I like the way you are talking so nicely to your friend. So you recognize when something is going well, and that really goes a long way with students. Now with leadership, it is so important to build leadership in every single child. It's not just the popular kids or the ones who have that natural ability, but it's so often those children that might be kind of quiet or might be being picked on a little bit on the playground. They have great leadership capabilities. So my goal this year is to bring them in through peer mediation and have them learn the art of effective listening and problem solving, and then share it with their peers out on the playground.
This is amazing. So what you're saying is it's all part of a process in developing that whole child that you're talking about.
That's right.
So if, not that you ever would at Cornerstone, but if you have a student who you've tried with effective communication, you've tried with the parents, and things just are not working, then what would be some specific ways that you would like to say to, I guess, to correct the child,
or to help them move in the right direction?
Exactly.
I never pretend
to discipline the child.
I never, and discipline is a learning activity. That's what discipline means to me. How can we teach the right behavior or teach the right choices? We also do have daily bulletins or weekly bulletins, I should say, that talk about making good choices, where we highlight make it a good day or not, the choice is yours. And that is repeated so many times that it becomes a way of life. Is that a good choice? By asking that question. Is that how you want to be thought of by your peers? And when you put it back on the shoulders of the student or the individual, they have time to think about it and maybe readjust how they're behaving. But regarding any real discipline problems, I would call the parents in, the teacher in, and sometimes the students in, you know, depending on the level of the discipline, and we would problem solve, because it really is a team approach, and we all have to be on the same page. We all have to hear the same thing.
I like that, and I'm understanding too that it's in listening, what works, what for sure is not working, how can then we maybe go in the right direction, what choices are we making, how is this going to affect us? This is good. I mean, see how much I'm learning as well. So it's all part of a process. And what are your, as being the principal of a wonderful, distinguished, national distinguished school, what are your specific challenges? You have teachers, students, parents, you have all of this.
I think the biggest challenge is the effective communication. Just when you think you've got so much in place, you don't have it in place at all. Or I believe that I have communicated something one way, but it, you know, it hasn't been totally communicated how someone would like to receive it. So you can never communicate too much. I'm thinking it needs to be electronically communicated and verbally communicated and then reiterated again. So.
Well, I think education comes through communication and also effective communication too. So that is in developing the whole child. It's very, very important.
In a day when we are so concerned with meeting state standards, and in Palos Verdes, I have to tell you that all of our schools do an outstanding job meeting state standards. We're one of the top performing districts in the whole nation, and we should all feel very proud about that.
Congratulations, that's awesome.
We have a little bit of flexibility where we can continue to develop the needs of the whole child. So the creative side, and when you talk about differentiated instruction and really making a difference to the learning, it's not about what they read about in a textbook, but how those connections are made in the learning. So we work on that.
Well, speaking of connections, we're going to take a very short break, and we're going to be back with more connections with Jody Pastel.
Thank you.
What if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.